Alright guys, this weekend George Kambosos will be fighting Devin Haney in Australia, and as you can see from the title, I'm going to be giving you lot the keys to victory, talking about the strengths and potential weaknesses of both fighters and how a win can affect the landscape of the lightweight division for both fighters. Let's start with the champion, George Kambosos. For me, George Kambosos' main strengths are his hand speed, his left hook, and his heart. Now, I know in saying heart, it's very, very difficult to measure, but to be fair, the other metrics or things I've mentioned are also difficult to measure, but heart is particularly difficult to measure because it's more of an intangible. It's not something that can easily be seen. You have to see his heartbeat tested in multiple fights, but I feel like the Teofimo Lopez fight showed that this guy has a lot of heart because he got dropped, and in my books, when I seen Lopez drop Kambosos, I thought to myself, oh, the fight is over, but he recovered and he was able to come back and win some rounds after being dropped. So credit to Kambosos. For me, he's definitely got a lot of heart. When Teofimo Lopez was knocked down against George Kambosos, it was because Kambosos threw a straight looping shot. Lopez did not anticipate the change in direction of the punch from George Kambosos, and he did not think the punch would come at such speed. And that's why Lopez was able to be knocked down by George Kambosos. It's not necessarily because Kambosos is heavy-handed. He punched Lopez from a very awkward angle, and the punch came at such speed that it affected Lopez's balance, and it was more of a flash knockdown than a concussive blow. So, in order for George Kambosos to offset Devin Haney and frustrate Devin Haney, he's going to have to throw combinations, particularly the straight 1-2, change the angle of punches, come from unorthodox angles like he did against Lopez, but throw punches at speed. Don't get too carried away with yourself because some fighters fall in love with their speed. They're so infatuated with it. You still need to have decent timing, and you need to throw punches in range. We see often with Amir Khan, when he was fighting, he fell so in love with his speed, he would often throw punches out of range, and you would just think to yourself, if this guy could just find his range, he could probably be knocking guys out because he's just not within range to throw a 1-2. But I feel like George Kambosos is much more aware of throwing punches in range. He's obviously not as good as Amir Khan in terms of his hand speed. He's quick, but he's not that quick. But he just needs to find his range and then throw combinations of punches. And Devin Haney won't expect it coming if it's coming from awkward angles and if you're coming at him really quickly. I don't think Haney has ever fought anyone as quick as George Kambosos. All of the other guys he's fought were a little slow, probably bar Linares. Linares was pretty quick in terms of his hand speed and his combinations, but I feel like Kambosos is a much more fresher fighter and he's much more determined in terms of winning. So that's definitely something George Kambosos will have to do. Throw fast punches, but also try to find your range. Don't get too infatuated with your hand speed. Another thing is land the left hook. That is probably his danger punch. He can throw a left hook whilst he's fighting on the inside. He can throw a counter left hook. He's very, very good at that. Just land the left hook. It's probably his most vicious punch. As I said, he's not the biggest puncher, but his left hook is very, very accurate, and it seems to affect his opponents the most. So, Kambosos, you must land your left hook. And as I mentioned lastly, he's a very durable guy. He's got heart. So if the fight is in the later stages, I don't expect Kambosos to get frustrated. I expect Kambosos to continue fighting or boxing, however the fight's going to turn out. Kambosos will probably be more of the pressure fighter in this fight. But if you do get knocked down, continue with your game plan and be able to make the right adjustment as the fights go along. As I've said before, your corner, your team will not be able to coach you through every scenario of the fight. You have to have your own intuition and the initiative to go on and do stuff based off your own knowledge and your own gut instincts. So For Kambosos, throw quick combination punches, throw punches from awkward angles, land the left hook, and don't get frustrated if Haney is boxing and moving well. Stick to your game plan, and you're probably going to have to make some adjustments in this fight. The top level fighters are able to make adjustments, so let's see if the fight is not going your way if you are able to make adjustments. Now let's go on to Devin Haney. For me, Devin Haney's strengths are his jab, his punch selection, and he also has a good left hook. Now Devin Haney is kind of weird because he's not unathletic, but he's not the most athletic fighter. He's kind of in between. Devin Haney is kind of a 7 out of 10 in every category. He reminds me of Errol Spence in the sense. Spence is not the biggest puncher or the most athletic, but he is just very sound in everything he does. That's what Haney is to me. He is very good at pretty much everything. Now, in terms of weaknesses, I haven't seen a significant deficiency in his game, but I would say something that maybe he can improve on is fighting unnecessarily on the inside. We've seen in the Jorge Linares fight, he got caught of his own wrongdoing. He was trying to go for the knockout and force something that's not there, because we know that Devin Haney is being criticized a lot of people saying he's got no power, and he was probably eager to prove people wrong and try to get the stoppage of Linares, but it was an unnecessary risk. Devin Haney is going to have to be focused and stick to a game plan. That's also another thing I want to say. So, not getting over aggressive and fighting on the inside when you don't need to. Keeping focus is definitely something I would like to see Haney improve on, and potentially his chin, because some people have said that they think Devin Haney is chinny because of the way he got rocked by Linares. So that's potentially something Kambosos can exploit. Haney might get overexcited if he hurts Kambosos and tries to fight unnecessarily on the inside for too long, because you'll never be able to fight on the outside for the entire fight, but it's his eagerness to fight on the inside. He probably fights on the inside a little bit too much when it's unnecessary, when he can keep the fight at distance. Fight to your strengths. In terms of his actual strengths, he's got to get the jab going. Devin Haney easily is the most technical fighter, in my opinion, in the lightweight division. He's got the best jab. He also has very good punch selection. You'll often see Haney jab to the body, and it just opens their opponent up. When you hit your opponent to the body, their guard drops, and there's much more punches you can actually work with. Haney also likes to throw leaping left hooks. I've seen this often in his fights. He will just be standing still and you think, oh, there's not a lot of movement from Haney. He's stationary. His opponent will like it. Yes, finally I've pinned him down, and then bang, he throws a looping left hook. So Devin Haney is definitely going to have to do that. Time Kambosos. Kambosos might fall in love with his speed, as I've said before. So you've got to make sure you're able to time him, because timing beats speed. You'll often, as I said before, see fighters, they have so much speed, they throw punches out of range. But if you time them, if you throw your punch at the right distance and the perfect time, you can catch them off guard and you can really buzz them, because those shots when a fighter throws a punch and he doesn't time his punch or he's out of range and then you beat him to the punch, that really rocks them. The legs start wobbling and the fighter is vulnerable. So, time George Kambosos. Another thing is counterpunching. Devin Haney is extremely slick. He has very good defense. Make George Kambosos miss. I think he'll make Kambosos miss a lot in this fight, you know. So in order to make him pay, don't just have slick defense. Once you've made him miss, bang, come back with a counter, come back with a left hook, and uppercut. Devin Haney's got so many punches in his repertoire. He's got such good shot selection, so he's got to use that. Throw different punches, because you have a variety of punches that you throw that are very, very good. Make sure you're boxing around the ring, moving around the ring, and just be the most effective boxer you can be. Don't try to engage unnecessarily on the inside, though at times you will have to fight on the inside, and then just be smart on the inside. Make him miss, anticipate punches, block punches, and then bang, come with a counter, clinch, and then go back to fighting on the outside. Don't stay in the pocket for an unnecessary amount of time. So yeah, guys, those were my thoughts on the upcoming undisputed lightweight fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. Alright, peace.